Hey everyone, welcome to today's A360. My name is Brewster Knowlton, and today we're going to be talking about what are the common reasons, the common misconceptions that are holding you and your organization back from becoming data driven. One of the most common misconceptions that I hear about becoming data driven is that it costs too much money. I hear all the time that building a data warehouse costs millions and millions of dollars. But that's simply not true for the community banks and credit unions that are in that mid-market. If you're a large company, Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000, somewhere in that scope and scale, then absolutely it'll probably cost you that much. But for the mid-market, the organizations, the credit unions that are in the 250 million to 7 billion range, or community banks under probably 10 to 15 billion dollars, you're not even coming anywhere near that number in terms of the initial build out. So it's just simply not true that becoming data driven costs too much money, especially for data warehouse. There are companies out there, one that we partner with the credit unions, a company called OnApproach, where they have pre-built solutions so you're not building from scratch, and this saves you a tremendous amount of money over the long run. The next common misconception that I hear is that data warehouses and analytics projects are way too big of a project. And that's true if you try to do everything at once. Would you implement a new loan origination system, a new core, a new online banking platform, and merge with another credit union at the same time? Probably not. And if you did, those would be extremely large projects and it'd be probably unbearable. Data warehouses are unbearable if you do too much at once. But if you break it down into phases and break it down into an iterative process, building a data warehouse or building an analytics platform is not too big of a project. It just simply has to be approached the right way. Another common misconception is when people tell me that there's not enough time to focus on analytics. Too busy, they can't do it. The average $1 billion credit union that we work with has somewhere between 45 and 65 third-party applications. And because of the disparate nature of this data, what that tends to mean is that there are thousands and thousands of man hours that could be automated with a better data and analytics platform. So if we could get you back 5,000 hours, which has a significant time cost associated with it, would there be enough time then? Or think about what the value of having those people get that time back would be. So whenever I hear there's not enough time to focus on analytics, that to me is just based on either misconception or lower priorities. There's enough time. In fact, you will get more time if you invest in these projects. This next one is probably my least favorite excuse and issue that I get when discussing data and analytics with people. And it's when they say that the way that we've always done it has worked. Why would we need to change? Why bother? Why should I bother investing in this data and analytics stuff? We've been doing just fine. And in the past, that logic might have prevailed. But look at how much the financial industry's landscape has changed in just the last 5 years. You have peer-to-peer lenders. You have peer-to-peer payment applications on an iPhone like Venmo. You have 100% digital banks. You have a very different landscape. And the way that those competitors, those non-traditional competitors, are successful is through analytics. And they have a lot less data about your customers or members than you do. So saying the way that we've always done it works is not going to be true in the new future, constantly changing environment that requires data and analytics to be innovative and adaptive. The last common misconception or excuse or whatever you want to call it that ends up holding organizations back from becoming data-driven is when they say that we don't have the right culture. Right? We don't have a culture for using data, so why would we invest? Well, it's sort of a tautology, isn't it? If you don't have a data-driven culture, then you don't have a data-driven culture, right? It's obvious. But like anything else, you have to develop that competency. You have to learn how to drive. You don't just step into a car and know. So as part of your analytics project and as part of that build-out for this platform, you have to take the right time to promote and grow a culture that supports, trusts, believes in, and uses data and analytics. And we have a couple posts and some podcasts that talk about that. But that cultural shift is key. So using the statement that we don't have the right culture for data and analytics as an excuse to not invest is just a natural paradox. You have to grow that culture to be able to make full use of analytics. And every organization goes through it. Nobody is just naturally built, unless they build it from the ground up, as a data-driven organization. So build that as part of your analytic project, and you too can grow the proper culture to successfully deploy and leverage analytics. These are the common misconceptions or excuses that I hear for why organizations are not data-driven and what's holding them back. First, they say that becoming data-driven costs too much money. False. Next, they say that data warehouses are way too big of a project. Also false. Next, I hear that there's not enough time to focus on analytics. Too busy. Shocker. That's also false. My least favorite, the way we've always done it works. Well, in the past, yes. In the future, probably not. That's a misconception. And lastly, these organizations that are being held back from becoming data-driven will say that we don't have the right culture. You can have the right culture. You just have to build it. It is not going to inherently exist. So that is a common other misconception surrounding data and analytics. That's it for today. Thanks again for listening to today's A360.